do we do this one? Kennedy? Why not? You, all that time I gave you, you didn't do it. You're a time waster? Is that what you're telling me? What is the least common denominator? 2x. Now, we wouldn't have to do that this time. Why? Because it's a proportion, right, Scott? So you can cross multiply too. So I would just cross multiply, but 2x works also. You come out with the same thing. So when you cross multiply, remember, let's do this first, move it back. You set them equal to each other, right? So 2 times x plus 2 equals x times x minus 1. That's what happens when you cross multiply. You set them equal. And you'll get the same answer if you multiply both sides by 2x, the common denominator. Because when I multiply this side by 2x, the x's go away, so it's 2 times that. When I multiply this side by 2x, the 2's cancel, so it's x times that. So you get the same thing. Now you got to distribute, which would be 2x plus 4 equals x squared minus x. So what's going to have to happen in this one, since there's an x squared in it? Equal to 0. Right. So I'm going to take the 2x and the 4 over to the other side. And I'll get, just do this. Then I'll get 0 on this side. X squared. Negative 1x minus 2x is a negative 3x minus 4. What are the factors of negative 4 that will add up to negative 3? Negative 4 and a positive 1. Right. Okay. So what are my two answers? Positive 4 and negative 1. Now, you're supposed to check those, right? If I put a 4 here, is that okay? Yeah. If I put a negative 1 there, is that okay? Yeah. What isn't okay there? 0, right, Jordan? Okay? So again, you need a common denominator. But if it's a proportion, one fraction equal to another, you can cross multiply. Okay? So let's just do this. Number 1. We've got x minus 10 over x equals, I got it. It's driving me nuts already. So what's the common denominator for that one? X. It's the only denominator, right? So I have to multiply everything, all 3 terms, by x. Okay? So when I do that, x times x is x squared. When I multiply x times this fraction, what happens to the 2 x's? They cancel, so it's just negative 10. Then I go x times 3, I get 3x. Now I have an equation without a fraction. That's why we're doing this, remember? Now I got an x squared again, so I have to set it equal to 0. So I'm bringing the 3x over, I will subtract it and put it in the right order. It would go in the middle, right? Now we're looking for factors of negative 10 that will add up to negative 3, which would be negative 5 and a positive 2. Any questions so far? Then, you know, we haven't been showing this step, but when we first started these, we were supposed to set our factors equal to 0 and then solve each equation. You guys have done so many of these, you know that the answers are -2 and +5, right? Now, if I substitute 5 there, is that okay? Yeah. If I substitute -2 there, is that okay? Yeah. So both of those work. Some of you had crossed out one of them. Okay, they both work. You know, what's 10 divided by 5? 2. What's 5 minus 2? 3, right? What's 10 divided by -2? -5. What's a -2 minus a -5? 3. So they both work. Okay? So basically when we check it, we want to make sure we don't get a 0 in the denominator. It should work if that doesn't happen. All right? We okay with number 1? Okay. Let's look at number 2. Now we have a proportion, but this one's a little different than the one we did the warm-up with. What's different about this one? The two denominators are the same on both sides, right? You see that? The warm-up one, they were different, right? So when they're different, you cross multiply. That's the easiest way to go. When they're the same like this, you can just do this. Get rid of that. And just write 5x equals x plus 6. Just set the numerators equal. And that's only when those two denominators are the same. Subtract x. So you get 4x equals 6. Divide by 4. And x is 3/2. I just reduced it, or you could put 1.5 if you want. And again, if I put 1.5 in for x, I don't get 0. It'll work. Okay? So that one's really easy if those two denominators on the, when you have that proportion, are exactly the same. Any questions? Okay. Number 3. X plus 5 equals 6 over x. Again, we only have the one denominator, so that's my common denominator, right? Multiply everything by x. So that's just x times x, and x times 5. And then when I go x times 6 over x, the x's cancel, so it's just 6 then. Fractions are gone. All right? Again, we have an x squared, so I have to subtract the 6, have it equal to 0. All right, so I'm looking for factors of -6. There's no GCF. It's a trinomial. A is 1. So I'm just looking for factors of -6 that add up to 5. 6 times -1 is -6. And 6 plus -1 is +5. So this is -6 and this is 1. And when I substitute -6 there or 1, it works. There's no 0 in the denominator. So if there's only one denominator, it's really easy to figure out the common denominator, right? So hopefully tomorrow that'll be that easy, huh? Now, number 4, you have two different denominators. Can you factor either of those denominators? No. So If they show up,
Write them down.
write them down. So both of those, that x plus 2 and x minus 2, are my common, or is my common denominator. All right? So I got x minus 4 over x minus 2, x minus 2 over x plus 2, and 1 over x minus 2. Okay? So I'm multiplying all three terms by x minus 2 and x plus 2, right? Because they showed up as denominators, and I couldn't factor them to make them look any simpler. Questions so far? Why that's the common denominator? Okay, now, when I multiply those two binomials times this fraction, the x minus 2's actually go away, right? Cancel. So it's x plus 2 times x minus 4 for that one. Oops, minus 4. That's the left side. When I multiply those two by this fraction, the x plus 2's go away. So it's x minus 2 times x minus 2. All right. When I multiply the common denominator by this fraction, the x minus 2's cancel. So it's x plus 2 times 1, which is x plus 2. Questions on that? That makes sense. We good?
Yep.
All right, so how do I multiply those two binomials? We got a FOIL, right? First, outside, inside, last. Okay? So first, x times x, outside x times negative 4, inside 2 times x, last 2 times negative 4. First, x squared, outside negative 2x, inside negative 2x, last positive 4. And then the x plus 2 is still there. Since we have an x squared on both sides, that's nice. Why? They're going to cancel because when I bring one over, I'm subtracting it, right? The right one over to the left I subtract, or the left one over to the right I subtract. So they're going to go away. So that makes this a lot nicer. I don't have to do any factoring now, right? I just got to get x by itself. All right, so I'm going to put these two x's together on this side. That's negative 2x. And I'm going to put negative 2 plus 1. So negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3x. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So I just combine like terms, make it look a little simpler. Okay? Now I'm going to take the 3x on the right and put it over with the negative 2x on the left, get them together. I'm going to take the negative 8 on the left and put it over with the 6 on the right to get them together. Okay? So I'm going to do both of those at once. So I'm going to add 8 and add 3x. So I'm doing two steps at once. Okay, so those canceled out and those. So negative 2x plus 3x is x. Well, that's what I want, x by itself, right? And then 6 plus 8 is 14. Is it okay to move that 14 and put in the bottom there? Yeah, it'll work. Questions on the first four?
For the x minus 2 plus 2, why didn't they both cancel out here?
The x minus
Like when you have to multiply the x minus 2 x plus 2 in a fraction, why didn't they both cancel out?
Oh, and here?
Go upward?
Here?
Yeah, like that. X 2x minus 2.
Right, but I'm multiplying them. I'm not dividing them. if I was dividing those, if these were exactly the same,
No.
both plus or both minus, I would just turn that into a 1,
Oh,
okay? But so I just FOILed it, Yeah, okay. Yes, you may. All right. No other questions? Olivia?
For that one, why wouldn't you make it -14? Like do the opposite answer.
Well, I just put those together. I just added those, right? 6
No.
plus 8.
No, like, how we usually tell us, like,
Oh, because I didn't factor that one. When it's factored, it's the opposite, right? But this is just x x on this side equals 14 on that side. Anything else? Good, you're supposed to ask questions now, right? Tomorrow I don't know any answers, I forget for some reason. Get nervous or something. All right. So we got those. All right, that was from section 8.5. The rest of it's from section 8.6, right? Simplifying with radicals and rational exponents and stuff. So, number 5. Is the 4th root of 625 x to the 8 and y to the 4. Okay, so I'm going to do the long way. Now you can do that in your calculator, the 4th root of 625, hit math, actually hit 4, math 5, 625, and it'll do it for you, right? But I'm going to do the factor tree. And that's 25 times 25. And each one of those is 5 times 5. And since it's 4th root, I'm looking for groups of 4, right? For x to the 8, I got that many x's, right? And for y to the 4th, I got that many y's, right? So, for this group of 4 5s, I got 5 as an answer. For this group of 4 x's, I got x as an answer. For this group of 4 x's, I got another x. For this group of 4 y's, I got a y. So my answer is 5x squared y. You don't listen? 4th root, 4. Math, 5. 625. Okay. Now, what's the shortcut I showed you with the exponents? Divide, right? What's 8 divided by 4? 2. What's 4 divided by 4? 1. Jordan, question.
I bet you my eyebrows, sorry.
Oh, okay. Trent?
How do I do it on my system?
I think it's the same for that, isn't it? There's cube root, let's see it. There's no. Alright. When we get done, I'll look a little longer for it. There it is. Okay. See that caret and then little x? I think that's the one you'd want to use. Right, so I think you'd have to do like 4 and then shift caret. Yeah, that's it. 625. You're welcome. All right. Now, dividing these, you guys got a little bit goofy towards the end here. All right, so pay attention when we get a little further. Your answers got a little goofy. You were thinking right, but We don't want any decimal exponents. We want to simplify it a little more. So I guess you just didn't have it simplified all the way. All right. So I got the cube root of x to the 6th over 64x cubed. What I like to do when I have radicals, I look in underneath the radical, we call it the radicand. If I can simplify that, I do that first. And I can in this problem. I got 6 x's up top and 3 in the bottom. So what can I do? I can get rid of 3 of them, right? So I'm going to rewrite it as x to the 3rd over 64. Because these 3 eliminate 3 of them up top. You follow? Well, that's what I would do first. When you have radicals and you can simplify the fraction, it's easier, I think, if you simplify that first. Now, what's 3 divided by 3? 1. So there's going to be an x in the top. And 64 is 4 times 16. And 4 times 4, I got a group of 3 4s. So what's the cube root of 64? 4. Or again, you can go to math, and that has a cube root. Cube root's number 4, and just put 64, and you get your 4 there. Okay? Does that one make sense? Thanks, Don. All right. All right. Number 7. Some of you said there's no answer. If my fraction, my denominator, was even, like 1/2 or 1/4 or 1/6, then there's no solution. If it's a square root or a 4th root or a 6th root, there's no solution because of the negative. But since my exponent is actually odd, that's an odd denominator, this is possible. Okay? And remember, this is the same as this. So you can think about it either way. All right? -6 times 36. And then that we could say is -6 times -6. Going for a group of 3, right? If you want to leave it like that, you can do this. Parentheses, just do it the same way it's, written. -216 caret 1 divided by 3. Just put it in like that. What are you going to get? -6. Did we miss that problem tomorrow? No. We should not. Okay. All right, some of you left this one blank. Okay. All that means is take 81 to the 1/4 power and x to the 4th to the 1/4 power. Okay? Just do them separate. Or you can think of it like this. That's the same thing. What's this denominator? What happens to the 4s? Cancel. The bottom is what? X. Yeah. The rule is multiply the exponents. What's 4 times 1/4? 1, right? That's like x to the first, so that's x. So that's the bottom. And then 81, I can't get my shoulder stretching. But I've got 4 threes. That's what I'm looking for, a group of 4, right? Simple. Now, again, you can't put 81 over x, right? So just put 81, caret, and then 1, 4 to get your 3 for that part of it. Okay? That one make more sense now? Okay. Yes,
So if we just write 3 over x, that's.
that's correct, yeah.
I didn't know if you had to like figure out x was or not.
No, there's no equal sign, so we don't have to solve for x, like up above if there's 4. All right, for number 9, we got cube roots. Okay. So what you could do, you guys realize that's the same thing, right? You guys with me? And then this is, so I'm looking for groups of what? 3. How many 6s do you see? 3, so that means that answer is 6, right? How many x's do you see? 3, so that answer is x, right? Now, if you wanted to, you could do this and multiply. And 6 times 36 is 216, and x squared times x is x cubed. And then just do cube root of 216, math, number 4, 216, get to 6. And again, you know cube root of x cubed is x, right? So you still get 6x either way. Whichever way you understand better, makes better sense to you, do it. That's why I'm showing you the different way. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm trying to help you see which way works best for you. Questions? Okay. Last one. We got cube root again. Okay, so some of you put 13 thirds, 9 thirds, and 4 thirds, because I told you to divide. That's okay, but that's not really the way we were supposed to do this. Okay, you want it in simplest radical form. So this is 9 times 81, and that's 9 times 9. So I got a group of 3, right? 9s. So I can pull out a what? A 9, right? So there's 13 x's, right? And why am I doing it in groups of 3? Because it's cube root, right? Okay, so I just wrote it all out, the long one. Okay, so I'm gonna look for groups of 3. So for each group of 3, I can pull that number or letter out, right? Everyone understands why, right? All right, so I can pull the 9 out. I can pull 1, 2, 3, 4 X's out, because there's 4 groups of 3 of those, right? I can bring out 1, 2, 3 groups of 1s, and 1 group of Z's. All right? So that simplifies to 9 x to the 4th y cubed z. You with me? But what do you see? You got an x and a z left over. Where do they go? They stay under the radical sign, don't they? So instead of putting 13/3, you divide it by what's left over, 1, for the remainder. You know, if it was 14, there'd be 2, so I'd have x squared left over. You follow me? Okay, so this part is cube root of x. Z is also part of our answer. So that's what it should look like. Does that make sense? So tomorrow, that last one's going to be similar to that. Okay? Any questions about anything? All right, so we'll have our quiz tomorrow, and then you get a little break. You don't have to think about me or math for a while. I know you guys can't stop thinking about me, though. You love me so much. I got a pinch bicep tendonitis or something like that. That's what you're telling me.